Hey there folks, welcome to this video. This one here's a general notice where I start off the week on this channel by talking a bit about the week ahead, look a bit further back and talk about something that's on my mind. You can find the timestamp for this week's one, the title content, in the description down below, if you want to skip ahead to that and not listen to about this stuff. This week on the channel, got a couple of live streams planned. I've already done Porsche Super Cup, got NIS, I think it's at Darlington, I'll be over on my Twitch. Got, what else? I think 6 out of Le Mans this weekend as well. And there is something else I'm forgetting. There definitely is something else I'm forgetting. Wet Laguna Seca. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. In addition to that, covering, I think there's Formula E this weekend, there's Formula 1. BTCC season opener, so I need to do a preview for that as well. And I've got to tell you what, I'm looking forward to all of it. It's going to be very, very enjoyable. Oh, and the WRC as well. Jesus, I'm spoiled for choice this weekend. At least Formula E, I think, is Monaco, so it's only a single day event. Man, I'm going to have to do a bunch of previews over the course of the middle of this week. But yeah, looking back, thanks to those of you who've come in through the content about social media boycott or the We Racist One stuff, I always feel like I should make that content. Just because I've been doing it at every race since Austria last season. And there are a lot of people who actually want to know about this stuff and politics in the world of Formula 1. Because for me, one of the things about Formula 1 that I love is that it's inherently political. But right now, the politics of Formula 1 are not just the intra-governmental things, so the FIA and FOM and the teams. There's also a lot more to it that reflects world politics. And I think that's a good thing. I really do, because Formula 1 exists as this kind of great bastion to barriers to accessibility. Motorsport is more exclusive than most other sports because of the high startup cost. And then you have all the other problems that come with lack of accessibility and then lack of representation as a result. That's why you can find a lot of racism, for example, in sports, or motorsports especially. With things like homophobia or classism, even. You can find it in all sports. I mean, that's why football, it was football that was making a stand against racism that led to the social media boycott that Formula 1 also followed up with, as well as other sporting and motorsporting series. But with F1, it's the exclusivity of it right at the top that cause a lot of these problems. And yeah, like I said, that's one of the things I'm happy to be able to talk about. But if we move to this week's discussion, F1's driver of the day. I'll come back to talk about F1 and politics in just a moment. F1 announced as his driver of the day for the Portuguese Grand Prix that the actual driver of the day was Sergio Pérez. Now, lots of people don't actually believe Sergio Pérez won the driver of the day, and the reason for that was when they went onto the driver of the day website, you looked at it, there are no percentages. they usually give out the percentages for votes and for vote breakdown. I mean, if you look at the start of the season, Sergio Pérez, when he got it for Bahrain, was at 27.7%, and Norris at Imola was at 32.3%. The numbers weren't there for Sergio winning yesterday in Portimao. And the working theory for it is that people believe that fan campaign to get the rookie Nikita Mazepin to win it might have gone through, and F1 just decided to wipe the votes off the table. And to tell you what, I don't get why people wanted to do that. Like, for me, he's in F1, and not going to act as if F1 is something that can be totally free and independent of privilege. So, it's not surprising he's going to be in F1 probably for a long time. But why we have to then give him the credence and attention is, I don't know. That said, F1 deciding not to give him the driver of the day is probably even more a talking point. It's not the first time that F1's decided to just wipe the votes off the table. Or wipe a set of votes off the table. They tend to do it when they think the protest vote's coming in, or people are just trying to mess around. So, yeah. I'm not surprised. But, at the same time, I don't feel like the kid needs any kind of attention like that. I say he's a kid, he's the same age as me, more or less. And probably one of the ultimate examples of privilege, potentially unaware privilege, in Formula 1. I mean, if you look back at the list of transgressions just in the past year, you have racism, sexism, homophobia, and misogyny. And that's just the stuff that there are articles about in the main road sporting journals. Go elsewhere on the internet and you'll see all the more. And the thing is, he's someone who is very hard to hold to account because of the world that he exists in and the realms he exists in. That's why people want to take him down a notch. And to be honest, I don't necessarily blame them for wanting to see someone who embodies as much privilege and generally hasn't made a positive impression on motorsport or even Formula 1 since he's been in it. So I understand why people, I feel like they want to take him down a notch. It's not going to work, but I understand why people want to do it. Maybe it's for their own cathartic thing of they weren't able to socially confront their own abusers. And this is a way where they're able to get some kind of cathartic retribution from it. The horrible world we live in. There are horrible people in it. But at the same time, I don't think that this fella gets the same kind of horrific abuse that black footballers are getting. Sorry, I just don't. He might think he does, but then that's his own privilege. I know for me, I've been sent all kinds of threats before. And I've been doxxed. Not nice. And do you know why I got doxxed? Because I said the far-right leaders who were harassing Muslims, who got sent to jail for harassing Muslims, deserve to get sent to jail for doing something illegal. That's what got me doxxed. That's what got me all of those kinds of threats. Whereas for this kid, he thinks he's getting abused because people are saying that he's been horrible for videoing himself groping a woman who's under the influence of alcohol. Or either saying a distasteful homophobic joke or outing another F1 driver. Or assaulting a competitor at a race event. Or trying to pressure women in the world of F1 into giving them nudes and sending them abuse when they say no. This is where I'm at. I don't care if he gets a driver of the day thing. In fact, driver of the day has largely been a mockery as long as it's existed. I mean, think about the amount of times Verstappen got it just because he has such a big fan base to vote for him every week. Think about that, and well, he wasn't exactly the driver of the day in those circumstances. And it's the thing with any kind of democratic voting. It's never a meritocracy. Because you're going to have a bunch of people who vote for someone because someone else does. Or because they're not thinking about it properly. Or because they think it's an absolute joke. So let the joke win. Because that's the only thing that everyone seems to be stopping. It's not like they have to give out this massive prize money to somebody who drove around so slowly he nearly got lapped by his own teammate. And then proceeded to blame the track. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you around. Bye for now.